not much has changed so far this season. He's been a one-man wrecking crew for the Jags.
And Rich, it is great to see the regular officials back here in Jacksonville. We have one of the premier referees, Ed Hockley, back in action. Let's meet Ed and his crew.
Ed Hockley, University of Texas, El Paso.
Rich Hall, University of Arizona.
Mark Hittner, Pittsburgh State University.
Adrian Hill, the University of Buffalo.
Craig Rallstad, University of Washington.
Keith Washington, Virginia Military Institute.
Don Carey, University of California, Riverside.
So the regulars are back. Referee Ed Hockley, in real life trial attorney in Phoenix during the lockout. I get the feeling, Rich, he did not miss a day at the gym.
No, he didn't. He is a guy that works out 4 days a week in the gym. He does cardio every day, 61 years old, and these guys are ready for action.
All right, Cincinnati won the toss. They deferred. The Jaguars will receive. Jalen Parmalee is the man back deep. Parmalee across the 15 and then is stacked up as he moved across the 20-yard line. Dan Scuda making the stop, 22-yard return, and here is Blaine Gabbert in his second season out of Missouri.
Yeah, and they need to get the passing game going, Marv. They're currently 31st in passing. He's completing just 50% of his throws. I think it's critical that he get off to a good start against this banged-up Cincinnati secondary that's without two of their starting corners.
They start out at the 22-yard line with Jones Drew flanked to the right side.
Outside.
Empty backfield for Gabbert. Gabbert in trouble and down he goes. Domata Pecco, the nose tackle, 7-year man out of Michigan State, making for a loss of 7 on that opening play.
Well, Jacksonville comes out trying to throw the football. Cincinnati has talked all week about getting pressure on Blaine Gabbert. They want to get this guy off the spot. They want to get him moving early.
So a 2nd and 17. He's been sacked at least once in 19 career games. 7th time this season. And this is Rashad Jennings with a penalty marker down. Jennings making his return. He missed the last 2 games with an injured knee. And the first call of the day for Ed Hockley.
Offside, defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty, repeat second down.
All right, let's check out the Jaguars up front. They welcome back both Evan Britton and Cameron Bradford, each missing the last 2 games with ankle problems, backs and receivers. And the Jaguars still looking for Justin Blackman, their highly touted first-round pick out of Oklahoma, to have an impact game. Only 4 catches, 31 yards. His first 3, another flag thrown off that incomplete pass intended for Cecil Shorts. Consecutive flags tossed.
Forward and incomplete. Offside, defense, 58. 5 yards, first down.
It's called on the middle linebacker, Ray Maualuga. As we check out the Cincinnati defensive crew, look at the Bengals defensive end Michael Johnson, the AFC Defensive Player of the Week with 3 sacks last week in Washington. Mentioned Maualuga. He has been inconsistent making it back from that knee sprain and the secondary injury hit. So Adam Pac-Man Jones starting at corner for a 2nd straight week. The starting corners, Nate Clements and Leon Hall, are both hurt and both inactive.
We're okay.
Second down and 7. And Jones Drew handles for the first time, and they swarm all over him. Gang tackled. Picked up just 2 on the play. So it sets up a 3rd down and 5.
Well, you think about a team that's probably got as much depth and talent at the cornerback position than any other team in football when they're healthy. But you look at the situation, inactive, Nate Clements, Leon Hall, Jason Allen, Dre Kirkpatrick. They're down to 3 corners, which that could be a huge factor, maybe a big reason why we're seeing Jacksonville with so many empty sets early.
And now Jones Drew, number 32, in motion. Ends up in the backfield. Gabbert making changes.
Got to screen.
Roberts' throw is nearly picked off, broken up, intended for shorts. Terrence Newman, the left corner, got a piece of it, and the punting unit will come on.
And I'm not surprised to see Cincinnati bring pressure. If you watch the film of Blaine Gabbert, the ball comes out early. He doesn't hold it, and you just see Mike Mularkey talking to him there. They're going to try and get pressure, going to try and get around his legs early in this game.
The punter, Brian Anger, has had a terrific season, a third-round draft pick out of Cal. Surprising that a punter would be picked in the third round, but he's been put on a bomb. Just as Tate able to break a tackle, and then is hit down. 44-yard punt, and another flag is tossed. Chris Krasinski made the hit and the tackle. So the regular officials certainly seeing their share of activity in the early
During
going.
the return, legal block in the back by the receiving team, number 45. It's a 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the run. First down.
Yeah, these officials, they realize that the honeymoon's not going to last very long. My guess, maybe through the first quarters, we get a look at Andy Dalton, who's off to a terrific start. As you'd expect, he looks much more comfortable, I think, and better command of the offense in year two. He's a quarterback that's been very difficult to rattle, extremely poised, young Andy Dalton.
Second-year man out of Katy, Texas, just outside of Houston. He's thrown 6 touchdowns, been intercepted 3 times, and getting the treatment from the crowd with Cincinnati starting out deep in their territory. They give us to Jarvis Green Ellis. So the former Patriot picks up 3 as we look at the Bengals lineup. Now the offensive line of note, the rookie Kevin Zeitler, a first-round pick out of Wisconsin. He's the starter at right guard. And the Bengals with a number of weapons, including the 6'4" wideout A.J. Green, who made the Pro Bowl as a rookie last season. Thus far this year, 21 receptions over the first 3 games, which puts him among the leaders. Second down, 7. And Dalton sidearmed, and it is picked off. Kyle Bosworth, and then he coughed it up. Cincinnati gets it back. And you can see Bosworth very upset.
Well, this is just an unfortunate set of circumstances. Nice push in the pocket. You see Andy Dalton, a throw he probably shouldn't make. He throws that one out to the fullback, Presley. Bosworth's there to pick it up, and then he bobbles it. And you see the big right tackle, Andre Smith, is able to recover it.
Andre Smith, 4-year man from Alabama. First 2 years in the NFL set back by injuries and what the team calls conditioning problems. So a new set of downs for the Bengals on that exchange, and Jarvis Green Ellis with a short pickup. Bosworth makes the stop. Jaguars struggling defensively, up front defensive end. Jeremy Mincey led the team in sacks a year ago. The linebackers, Paul Kozlowski, had a sparkling game last week against the Colts, and in the secondary, Derek Cox made his return last week after missing the first 2 games of the season with a pulled hamstring. Mike Mularkey looking at a 2nd and 7 for the Bengals. Green Ellis in the backfield. Dalton with protection. Able to complete to Andrew Hawkins, the 5'7", 180-pounder in a second year out of Toledo. That is good for 7 yards, just shy of a first down. Andrew Hawkins spent some time, Rich, in the Canadian Football League, played for the Grey Cup championship teams in Montreal, started last year on the Bengals practice squad after he was cut by the Rams. In fact, after leaving Toledo, had an unsuccessful tryout at the Browns rookie camp and even worked as a caddy for a year and a half in Toledo. Here's Dalton in the right flat, completes for the first down. Orson Charles, the backup tight end, making his 2nd catch of the season.
Well, Andy Dalton does a nice job with his eyes, holding those linebackers, allowing Charles, the backup tight end, to get up on the linebacker. They do a really nice job with good ball distribution. We talked about who's going to be the big playmaker opposite A.J. Green. Well, it's come from Binns, it's come from Hawkins, it's come from Sanu. Brandon Tate has done a nice job around A.J. Green.
Here is Green Ellis with a hole up the middle, and then he is hit down at the 32 by Posluszny. A hard hit by Paul Posluszny as we take a listen.
Just talking to the Cincinnati coaches last night, they've got great respect for Paul Posluszny. He's the leader of that defense. He makes all the calls. Very good in the running game. He stays on the field in third down packages as well.
Second down and 7. We're just underway here in Jacksonville with no score. Again, a good hole, and Green Ellis, who is so effective at falling forward. Rich, you get the idea. They had him back around the 41-yard line, but he keeps going. The strong safety to one. Landry finally was able to get him to the ground, but that's a 13-yard advance.
And that's one of the things that Paul Posluszny said. He said, we've got to get this guy on the ground. You look at, there's one of these backs that you hit him up around 3 or 4 yards, and then by the time the pile gets up, you realize it's a 7 or 8 yard gain. He always keeps his feet moving, always seems to fall forward at the end of runs.
And what's amazing about Green Ellis, he had not fumbled in a regular season or postseason game until he gave one up last week. Nearly 600 carries in all before that fumble as the pass is completed over at the far side to Marvin Jones, the rookie out of Cal. He had gone 589 career combined rushes and receptions until this last week against the Redskins. His last fumble had taken place in his college days at Ole Miss. That was back in 2007. That's amazing.
It really is amazing. He learned a little something about ball security from Bill Belichick, New England Patriots. They don't tolerate it when you put the ball on the ground.
2nd and 4, play action. Dalton being chased. Dalton on the run for the marker, may have picked it up. Russell Allen finally covered him up. Nice scramble by Andy Dalton. Pressure by C.J. Mosley, who thought he had him.
Well, this is one of the things that they worked on with Andy Dalton in the offseason, just using his legs more, being able to escape pressure. You see a nice block here by the offensive line. Looks like Andre Smith comes in and cuts C.J. Mosley. That allows Andy Dalton to keep moving, but he has the ability to make some plays. It's not a first thought when you think about Andy Dalton.
First down for Cincinnati, again, play action. See Dalton just able to stand and look, and now fires. Incomplete. So Dalton getting the protection. Marvin Jones, the intended receiver.
Well, they feel like they can take some shots against this Jacksonville secondary. I mean, they really match up well. They've got a lot of talent at the tight end position, at wide receiver, not just A.J. Green. Talking to Marvin Lewis last night, he said, we've got to be able to run the ball better, absolutely. There's Jay Gruden, the offensive coordinator, but they also got to be able to take their shots on the early downs.
Cedric Pearman has come on in the backfield. It's an unusual lineup here for the Bengals, and a flag is thrown.
False start, offense, number 16. 5-yard penalty. It's 2nd down.
It's called on Andrew Hawkins. Jay Gruden, the offensive coordinator, adding some razzle-dazzle to the schemes of the Bengals, as we saw last week on the very first play from scrimmage. Mohamed Sanu, who was a wide receiver but played some quarterback at Rutgers, fired one downfield and completed a 73-yard touchdown pass play to A.J. Green.
And how about the fact he told the team on Wednesday that that would be the first play of the game against the Redskins?
2nd and 15. Jones pass nearly picked off. Rasheem Mathis, the left corner, had a shot out at A.J. Green, the intended receiver.
Well, you talk about Jacksonville. They're getting healthier in the secondary. They've got Rasheem Mathis back. You look at him, does a nice job jamming A.J. Green and disrupting him. He jumps that little in route. And you just watch Andy Dalton. Now, we've seen this twice already through the first couple plays. Look, that's not the type of footwork that you need from Andy Dalton. He's kind of thrown off his back foot. He's got to be able to step into those throws. He's got to be able to anticipate. Right now, the ball coming out a little late for Andy Dalton.
Just the 11th play of the drive. They started at their 9. Here's the pressure, and on the screen it's Brian Leonard racing for the first down marker, but comes up short, met by DeAnthony Smith, and again, a flag is on the
Personal
field.
foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 38. Tackle the quarterback below the knees. 15-yard penalty from the end of the completion. First down.
It is called on Antoine Blake, rookie from Texas, El Paso.
He's coming off the edge and he goes low right there. And got to be smart when the quarterback is in the pocket. You can't go at his knees. You see Cincinnati throwing a screen. When you're struggling a little bit with the pass rush, you've got to be able to mix in some screens to slow down that rush up front.
Then Jarvis Green Ellis returns to the backfield. First down for the Bengals at the Jaguar 22. Green Ellis running hard, gets inside the 20, met by Russell Allen. He picked up 4. Bengals losing at Baltimore in their opener, blown out 44-13. Then they beat Cleveland and win at Washington last week in that wild one, 38-31. At one point, Bengals led 24-7. The Skins came from behind, tied the game, but Cincinnati able to pull it out. They now go with double tight ends, Gresham and Charles. Second and 6. Dalton's pass is off, intended for Green Ellis out on the flat.
You know, we talked about our visit with Andy Dalton last night, Marv. One of the first things he said is I have to be patient versus Jacksonville defense. Matt Schaub told us the same thing 2 weeks ago. It's kind of a bend but don't break defense. A lot of two-deep coverages. They force you to work your way down the field. You don't give them a lot of big plays. You can't force throws against all this two-deep coverage. You've got to be willing to check the ball down underneath.
A.J. Green is to the left for this 3rd and 6. Here they come. Dalton able to complete, but just a short pickup. Catch made by Hawkins. Picked up about a yard on the play, and here comes the field goal unit. Mike Nugent, 5 for 5 thus far this season. Last week hit from 47, and there was that fake field goal that did not work. Cincinnati again going to a gadget play. This one is a 35-yard attempt. The punter, Kevin Huber, will put it down. And the kick is right through. So the Bengals with a 3-0 lead on the Jaguars here in Jacksonville. Andy Dalton and offensive coordinator Jay Gruden going through the playbook. 14 plays, 74 yards. Mike Nugent able to connect from 35. And now Nugent, who's been very strong on kickoffs throughout his career, will kick it away to Rashad Jennings. Jennings out of the end zone. Out to the 20 and then tripped up. Jeremy Miles on the stop. So the Jaguars back to the offense. Blaine Gabbert about to take the field once again.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. And by Toyota Care, caring for you and your car.
A look at the St. John River here in Jacksonville. As you saw, an overcast day. They are expecting thunder showers later on. Jacksonville back to the offense. Here is Gabbert. Gabbert on the run. And gets close to a first down. He was stopped by Wallace Gilberry. And talking with Cincinnati defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer yesterday, Rich, he said the key is to make Blaine Gabbert uncomfortable. Doesn't want Gabbert to have easy completions, and he said we want to get around his feet, and I'm assuming there is a particular reason for that?
Well, I think you're right. I think whether they want to admit it or not, there's a perception out there that Blaine Gabbert at times can be squeamish in the pocket based on what happened last year. And that being said, you know what Mike Zimmer said to his defense? Just get after him and he'll crumble under the pressure.
2nd and 1, so Gabbert able to run for 9. Hands it off to Jones-Drew. Turns the corner and has a first down. Zimmer also telling us yesterday that Maurice Jones-Drew, like yourself, Rich, is much faster than he looks.
Yeah, looks can be deceiving, but you look at a guy like Maurice Jones-Drew. He's got that low center of gravity. I always marvel at his lower half. He's so big in the trunk and in his thighs and his legs. He's just a big man. He's hard to get down on the ground. That's going to be the key for that Cincinnati defense. I asked Mike, talk about tackling. How do you tackle better? So you get 11 hats to the ball carrier.
Jones-Drew picked up 9 and a first down for Jacksonville. And down goes Gabbert. It is Manny Lawson, the strong side linebacker. That's the 2nd sack of the day for the Bengals.
Well, they're talking about bringing more pressure on Blaine Gabbert. Marvin gets back to testing this guy early. You can see him do a very good job blocking Manny Lawson. I mean, he just comes clean off the edge. Blaine Gabbert doesn't have a chance to turn around and get his feet set. But that's what you want to do with a guy like Gabbert. And, the thing is, Blaine has to improve his instincts in the pocket. He's got to be able to stand tall in the face of pressure and deliver the ball on time and with some accuracy. You do that by keeping your eyes downfield.
Loss of 12 on the play action, and the screen for the tight end, Mercedes Lewis. Nicely done as he gets to midfield, met by Manny Lawson. 23-yard pass play.
And this is just a really poor effort and a poor finish by Adam Jones. You tackle, we talk about tackling. Guys don't want to use their arms anymore and wrap up. Now, if you're Adam Jones, why would you want to take a big tight end like Mercedes Lewis up high? But still, you just can't throw. Watch him throw. He's just going to actually throw and try and knock him down. You've got to be able to form tackle. And that's something that Mike Zimmer, they've been talking about through the first 3 games of the regular season. They're not tackling well right now in the secondary.
Rashad Jennings in the backfield. Just under 4 remaining in this first quarter. 3-0 Bengals. Jennings finding the hole, picking his way. Rashad Jennings started the first game with Maurice Jones-Drew coming back from the holdout. Had 8 carries, 31 yards, and then he's missed the last 2 with a knee injury, but a very physical back, hits the hole, can pick his way. 7th-round pick out of Liberty.
And it's a nice changeup to be able to give Maurice Jones-Drew a blow every once in a while, and to bring in another big back like that can smack it up in there.
Jennings remains in the backfield for the 2nd and 6. Jennings for the first down. Ray Malaluga able to get to the tackle, but Jennings goes for 8.
Yeah, and Cincinnati's run defense not where it needs to be. They're actually next to last. You go back and you look the last 12 games, they're allowing almost 6 yards a carry. They've allowed teams to rush for over 100 yards or more 10 of those games, including all 3 this season. They're giving up just too many big yards, and it's after contact. They've got guys in position. They're just not making plays around the line of scrimmage.
First down for Jacksonville. Jones-Drew returns to the backfield. Gabbert able to hit Greg Jones in the left flat. Jones, the fullback, coming out of the backfield where he was met by Dan Skuta, and that's good for 6.
And they've got some big backs. You look at Greg Jones. He's a big, powerful fullback, but he's also very good in the passing game. Played some halfback in college, and they do a nice job moving him around a little bit, getting him in space.
Jaguars go with the double tight end, Mercedes Lewis and Zach Potter on the field for a 2nd down and 4. See the play selection. They split to 10 plays, 5 rush, 5 pass. Here's Gabbert looking to throw, has time, dumps it underneath, and has a first down. Able to find Maurice Jones-Drew. Vontez Burfict with the tackle, but that a 6-yard advance and a first down for the Jaguars inside the 25.
Really nice decision there by Blaine Gabbert. They're trying to take a shot on the early down. It's not there. Does a nice job. He's looking downfield. He's setting his feet. It's not there. Now look at them. He just waits till Maurice Jones-Drew checks down. Now you put yourself in a great position. Keep the drive moving.
Coming up on a minute left in this first quarter. Jones-Drew trying to make the turn, and the Bengals continue to do a nice job on Maurice Jones-Drew. The combination of Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap make the play.
Yeah, and he's a back that's very similar to Ray Rice. You know, a guy that they see twice a year. You know, such a tough tackle because we talked about how he runs behind his pads and so low to the ground. So you've got to be able to get him on the ground. You can't. The yards after contact are where Maurice Jones-Drew can really hurt you.
A loss of 2. Thus Marvin Lewis telling us that Maurice Jones-Drew is so difficult to deal with because he'll explode through tackles. Gabbert on the roll, able to complete. Blackman with the catch and a first down for the Jaguars. Justin Blackman with only his 5th catch of the season. Picked up 14 on the play. He was a first-round pick, the 5th overall selection, and people here in Jacksonville and around the league saying, hey, what's going on with Justin Blackman?
They've got to get him going. You've got to get this guy the ball early. It's his first catch, and we're already through the first quarter.
And that is the end of the first quarter. The Jaguars on the move. Bengals lead at 3-0. We'll be back here in Jacksonville after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. On to the second quarter, and the Jaguars on the move. A drive that began at the 23-yard line, and coming up the 11th play of this drive. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon, as Jacksonville has a 1st and 10 down at the 13-yard line.
Yeah, good look at the offensive coordinator there, Bob Bratkowski. Spent a lot of time, almost 10 years, as the offensive coordinator in Cincinnati. Very familiar with Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator of the Bengals.
Gabbert goes to the ground to Jones-Drew, running hard as always. And how many Bengals are there to finally put the brakes on Maurice Jones-Drew?
You know what's ironic is you look where all the big runs have come from Jacksonville, and they've been up the middle, and you look where the struggles have been defensively for the Cincinnati Bengals. It's been stopping the run inside between those two guards, and they've got to be strong. That's where they've got to be at their best, and when they play their best football, it's guys like Geno Atkins and Domata Peko that take over in the middle of that defensive line.
5-yard pickup for Jones-Drew. Full house backfield now. Again, the handoff, Jones-Drew, and this time he is stopped. Stopped by 2 Bengals. Malaluga and Burfict were able to get to him, but picked up 5 more and a first down. It'll be 1st and goal for Jacksonville.
Well, you look where all the runs are today, and they've been running up the middle. Even when the runs start to the right or left, it seems like Maurice Jones-Drew wants to wind them back to the middle. Do a nice job with that inside zone. It's one of his favorite runs in this offense.
1st and goal at the 2. Jones-Drew and the fullback Jones in the backfield. Here's the play action fake, and the passes. A diving attempt. And it's caught for the touchdown. A circus catch by Mercedes Lewis.
Well, Vontaze Burfict, he's asking for some help. This is just a nice release by Mercedes Lewis. There's no penalty here at all. Burfict never finds the ball. Nice adjustment by Mercedes Lewis in the back of the end zone. Here's a guy that had 10 touchdowns in 2010. He didn't reach pay dirt at all last season. Kind of a major disappointment, but boy, he's been off to a much better start this season.
So the Jaguars take the lead, and here's Josh Scobie attempting the extra point. Nice drive by Blaine Gabbert, completed 5 in a row for 51 yards to 5 different receivers. 7-3 Jaguars.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
A reminder to get the latest news, analysis, and predictions from Jason Lockenfor, Pat Kerwin, and other CBS Sports experts. Watch Pro Football 360 live weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern or on demand at cbssports.com/Pro Football 360. 13 plays, 77 yards, 7 minutes, 37 seconds, and a good job by Blaine Gabbert.
A really nice job. Look at that 5 for 5 on that drive. He had a nice little run. He's doing a good job getting the ball out of his hands quickly, and of course finding that big tight end of his, Mercedes Lewis, in the back of the end zone.
Josh Scobie to kick it away to Brandon Tate in his 4th year out of North Carolina. And a deep kick. So to bring it out to the 20-yard line, the Bengals will start out in just a moment with Andy Dalton making his way back out of the field. Cincinnati back to the offense where they have done well in recent weeks. They're 8th in points and total yards, but they have mastered the big play, and that is how they have benefited. And they're going up against one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Bengals also having their difficulties at the defensive end as Green Ellis is stopped by Russell Allen. Tuesday on CBS. See why Vegas is the #1 news show on television. And if you have it on your DVR, watch it soon. Vegas, only CBS. No gain for Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. Andy Dalton looking at a 2nd and 10. And fires one that is short of a first down. The catch by the tight end Jermaine Gresham, stopped by Allen, the outside linebacker. It's an 8-yard gain. Jermaine Gresham, one of 3 offensive players for the Bengals to make the Pro Bowl, along with A.J. Green and Andy Dalton. Green and Dalton making it as rookies last season. 3rd down and 2 for Cincinnati.
Monday.
Short set, and Dalton's pass is incomplete. Intended for Armand Binns. He was covered by Derek Cox. Binns with several inches on Cox, but Dalton off the mark, and the Bengals will punt.
Well, you know that they'll take shots early, and when they get man-to-man coverage, it's the first thing Andy Dalton does. He looks for either Binns or A.J. Green down the field.
This is Mike Thomas back for the punt. Kevin Huber gets it away at a good one. Thomas has to backpedal and then lets it go. And it bounces out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. A beauty. 58-yard punt. Jaguars with a 7-3 lead. Jaguars will start out from their 13-yard line, and a good start. You can see passing first downs this season, fewest in the NFL. The last drive, they connected on 4. Maurice Jones-Drew is the running back. Off the play fake, it is Rick Jones, the fullback, coming out of the backfield, stopped by Burfict, and he picks up the first down.
Yeah, it's good to see Blaine Gabbert make some plays with his legs. Gets that last drive started with a 9-yard run off the scramble. Comes back with the screen to Mercedes Lewis. Some quarterback movement to throw to his rookie wideout, Justin Blackman. They cap it off. A sweet throw in the left corner of the end zone to Mercedes Lewis. 13 plays, 77 yards for Gabbert and the Jaguars.
And Rich, that was their longest touchdown drive of the year. 13 plays in all. Jones-Drew trying to cut to the outside of the Bengals. Continue, at least to this point, to contain Jones-Drew.
And I like the fact that we're seeing Jacksonville try and throw the ball at least on first down. I mean, it's going to be hard for Maurice Jones-Drew to continue to run the ball versus all these heavy 8-man fronts. You've got to be able to get a team to respect the fact that you can throw the football, and they've got to find a way to get these receivers going early. You went out and got Laurent Robinson. You went out and drafted Justin Blackmon, but yet these guys aren't getting touches early in games.
Here's the toss to Jones-Drew. Tried to follow the fullback, Greg Jones, but not able to, and he's bounced out of bounds.
You talk about how important it is to get these guys going, and you just look at the receptions. They're 31st in receptions, they're 29th in receiving yards. Not a whole lot of production in terms of touchdowns, but even a guy like Cecil Shorts is a great example. He's got a handful of catches so far this season, but they've been big ones. But, even last week, he gets his first catch. It's an 80-yard touchdown catch. He gets it with 45 seconds to go in the game last week against the Colts. Hard to find your rhythm early.
That was the wrapper for the Jaguars. Here is a pass underneath, and Justin Blackmon, who has had his difficulties holding on to the football, should have had that.
Yeah, he's not playing with a lot of confidence right now. Why should he? I mean, he's not getting a lot of action, just 4 catches in 3 games. He's not playing fast. He's had some drops. We've seen that. And despite playing 88% of the offensive snaps. And they've got to find a way. What is it about Justin Blackmon? Now, I talked to Mike Larkin. What can they do to get him going early? Maybe even some reverses. There's some end arounds just to get the ball in the hands of your first-round pick.
Head coach Mike Mularkey says he has been feeling the pressure that he is pressing. Here's Anger, gets off another good one as Tate has to chase it back. Tate to the 20. And then had no room at all. He's bumped out of bounds. 61-yard punt, 14-yard return. You see Gabbert with the pass underneath, and Blackmon not able to make the play. 5 minutes gone by, second quarter. Jacksonville, Florida, Cincinnati starts out from their 25-yard line. The running back has been Jarvis Green Ellis, the former Patriot. Dalton swings it out. Green Ellis with no running room. Stopped by Russell Allen. For the first time, Arnold Schwarzenegger speaks out about his scandal, plus Lara Logan with America's top commander in Afghanistan. The season premiere of 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS. Loss of a yard, and Dalton now 6 for 12 for 44 yards. Dalton's pass is dropped. Armand Binns took a good hit from the right corner, Derek Cox, and Binns not able to hang on.
Well, they're getting healthy in the secondary. Cox returned last week and played well against the Colts. Mathis looks like he's finally 100% coming off of that knee surgery. Just watch the bottom of the screen. They're playing a lot of press, man-to-man coverage. Now, a lot of times they have help over the top, but in that situation, they're playing with a single safety. Just really a nice job reacting to the throw by Derek Cox.
Third down back, Brian Leonard has just come on. 3rd and 11. Dalton able to step up. Gresham short of the marker. Aaron Ross, the nickelback, making the tackle.
That's what Jacksonville does so well. They play that 2-deep coverage. They force everything back up inside. They force the quarterbacks to work the ball underneath, and then they rally to the tackle and force you to punt the football.
So Kevin Huber back at his 20. That is Mike Thomas, 4-year man from Arizona. 3 and out for the Bengals. And the fake. It is Pearman on the run with Thomas back. Pearman puts a move on, but he's caught from behind. Once again, the Bengals go to the razzle-dazzle, and this time the fake punt does work.
Yeah, direct snap. You never see it coming. You see it goes right to Cedric Pearman right here in the middle of your screen. Look at the edge. They've got nobody outside, but a clean running lane. Do a nice job sealing. Somebody, the end man on the line of scrimmage, has to be able to come back up and up outside and force that type of a fake punt back up inside where he's got some help.
Montel Owens was able to chase him down. Thomas went 48 yards. First down, Cincinnati inside the Jacksonville 20. And Jarvis Green Ellis straight ahead inside the 15-yard line, stopped by Mincy. We talked earlier about the Bengals running a couple of unconventional plays in Washington last week. Mohamed Sanu out of the Wildcat, able to connect with A.J. Green. Drew Hawkins with the end around on a reverse. A.J. Green does the same for 11 yards. And then Jarvis Green Ellis taking the direct snap for the touchdown.
They also tried a fake field goal that didn't work, but then they come right back with a fake punt. Really nice job by Darren Simmons, the special teams coordinator.
Second down and 5. That ball is deflected and carried incomplete. Third and 5 for the Bengals. Andy Dalton last season became the first rookie quarterback not selected in the first round, a second-round draft pick, to start all 16 games and lead his team to the playoffs. Stepped in following the departure of Carson Palmer, did an excellent job.
Super competitive, extremely poised, accurate, very bright young player.
Third and 5, Leonard in the backfield. Dalton stands and throws, and it is broken up. Penalty marker is down. The pass intended for the tight end, Jermaine Gresham. And we'll get the word from Ed Hockley.
Interference, defense, 5.
Little problem with the microphone, but it's the free safety. Dwight Lowry called for the pass interference.
In the back of the end zone, he's covering the tight end to the corner, and boy, it's tough to really tell. You can see maybe that he can't raise his left arm because I think it's being held by Dwight Lowry.
It is a first and goal at the 1. The handoff, Green Ellis. And let's see where they spot it. Just short. Going to be a second and goal.
Well, sometimes when you're struggling a little bit offensively to get something going, you need a big play on your special teams. Get a good look right there at Cedric Pierman. Huge play in this first half.
This time the rollout, Dalton throws, touchdown, Cincinnati. It's the fullback, Chris Presley, on the catch. And for Andy Dalton, his 7th touchdown pass of the season. Chris Presley, a 4-year man out of Wisconsin, has not run the ball frequently, but he does come out of the backfield.
Yeah, they're just going to sneak him out into the flat and do such a great job with the play action. You see the linebackers over pursue it there. And Russell Allen, he's chasing the fullback who he has in man-to-man coverage.
Here is Mike Nugent. Line drives it through. 8 plays, 75 yards. The Bengals with a 10-7 lead. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Samsung Galaxy S3. The next big thing is already here. McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by National Car Rental. Go National. Go like a pro.
Obviously someone stealing Rich's houseboat.
Do you like that?
I certainly hope you recover it.
That's how I got here.
Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. A touchdown catch by Chris Presley just a moment ago. His first NFL touchdown, and this his fourth season. 8 plays, 75 yards, and 3 minutes, 43 seconds. Jalen Parmalee is back for the kick from Mike Nugent. Here comes Parmalee out across the 10-yard line. And that is taken out of bounds across the 25, but a penalty marker is down.
Return, block in the back by the receiver.
See, the regular guys come back and the audio doesn't work. What's going on here,
Is this
Rick?
amateur hour or what?
Testing.
We'll be back in a moment. And you know that upsets Ed Hockley.
He wants to be heard.
Speaking of Ed Hockley, the referee, this is what took place prior to the game. The man is a rock star. Ed posing for photos with fans. And incidentally, Rich, it's $25 per shot, $50 if he puts his arm around you.
And $75 if he autographs it.
Jaguars starting out
Alert!
at their 8. Maurice Jones-Drew again gang tackle. No gain on the play.
When you think about this offense, it's kind of a blend of Mike Mularkey's and Bob Bratkowski's backgrounds. And obviously, they like what they saw in the running game. Now they've got to be able to develop a passing game that they can count on, and need to find ways to create some big chunks, some big plays of 20 yards or more. It's something they have struggled with through the first 3 weeks.
For Jones-Drew, 8 carries, only 23 yards at 177 on the ground last week. Here's Gabbard. Greg Jones, the fullback, is taken out of bounds. Knocked out by the free safety, Reggie Nelson. Cincinnati Bengals delighted that Evan Britton, their starting left guard, is back after missing the last 2 games with an ankle injury. 4-year man from Arizona. And Rich, I know you are well aware that his grandmother happens to be, yes, Estelle Parsons.
I never knew that.
I like the music. Estelle winning the Academy Award for supporting actress for her brilliant work in Bonnie and Clyde back in the late 60s. And Gabbard in trouble is taken down. Carlos Dunlap with the sack, but a flag is thrown. Like the ball may have come loose.
Personal foul, face mask by the defense in the process of making the tackle. That's a 15-yard penalty. This is the foul, which was a dead ball spot, an automatic first down.
So it is on Dunlap, and we'll get a look at it.
Well, Carlos Dunlap can be a force as a pass rusher, but you got to be smart right here. He's just trying to get that ball out, and he inadvertently grabs that face mask, and then you see the ball come out. Ray Maluga. Wayne Gabbard's got to be more aware and stronger in the pocket. He had 14 fumbles a season ago. That's the most by any quarterback, and especially for a guy who's 6'4", 235 pounds. You talk about having 2 hands on the ball in the pocket and holding it high and tight and secure up by your sternum. Particularly coming out of your own end zone.
So the ball is now at the Jacksonville 21-yard line at a first down for the Jaguars. Jaguars back to their regular offensive line with Monroe and Bradfield at the tackles, Britton and Waneri at the guards, and Meester, the center. Rashad Jennings now the feature back. Deep drop for Gabbard, and throw sideline. It is incomplete, intended for Justin Blackman. Blackman in a battle down that sideline with Chris Crocker, who was signed earlier this week. He's back with the Bengals after being cut, at the end of last season. In fact, he was a starter last season for Cincinnati.
Well, that should kind of settle things down a little bit in the secondary. He's a very smart player, good communicator back there. You see, one of the things Blackman's got to do a better job of, he's got to give the quarterback some more room. He's running that route right up the sidelines. There's no room there for Blaine Gabbert.
Second down and 10 at the 21. Jennings remains in the backfield. Out of the gun. The screen. Jennings. And he is stopped for a loss. Stopped by Reggie Nelson, the free safety. Lost a couple on the play.
The former Jacksonville Jaguar, Reggie Nelson, and just a nice alert play there. And one of the comments I made to Blaine Gabbert, I said, how about the screen game? Because they've always, Maurice Jones-Drew has been such a good screen runner. How they've not gotten the screen game going, but that's all about timing. When you don't have a guy like Maurice Jones-Drew through the whole offseason, even through training camp, it makes it a little bit difficult to get the timing and the rhythm.
And what was Maurice Jones-Drew telling us about his eyes? The fact that he's still working his way back in terms of seeing the field, as this time the pass completed over the middle to Blackman, but once again just a short gain as Montez Burfict makes the stop.
Well, they're doing everything they can to get him the ball. He actually runs this route. He runs this route behind the line of scrimmage. They're not getting any depth. And this is a guy that's just struggling right now. He's still getting used to the speed of the game. And in fact, it's not as easy to get open at this level. We're talking about a two-time Biletnikoff Award winner at Oklahoma State as the nation's top receiver. He's known for making the difficult catch and being very good in traffic. We haven't seen that so far from Justin Blackman.
Brandon Tate is back, and that's a short punt. It carries out of bounds, just a 41-yard punt. So the Bengals will take possession when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by KFC. Delivered fresh. Prepared fresh with world-famous secret recipes. Come in today and taste why fresh is better.
Pre-game activity here at Everbank Field in Jacksonville. You can relate to this, Rich.
That may be a future signal caller someday for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Blaine Gabbert maybe start worrying. That youngster there, pretty good motion.
Cincinnati 1st and 10 at their 40-yard line as we approach 3 minutes to play in the first half. Green Ellis with a hole and is able to get to the midfield stripe. Peslesny on the stop. It's a first down for the Bengals.
Well, the Bengals have done a nice job. Really good ball distribution. 7 different Bengals have a catch today, but none for A.J. Green. So they're having the same issues that Jacksonville's having. You got to find a way to get these guys involved in the plan early. I think that's so important.
Once again, it is Green Ellis. Little stutter step move as he goes for 9. And Jarvis Green Ellis in his 5th season out of Ole Miss. Spent 4 years as a member of the Patriots. Cincinnati, one of the more aggressive teams in terms of free agents. Again, it is Green Ellis. After he picked up that first down, this time he has stopped and lost a yard. And that could take us right up to the 2-minute warning. Bengals with a 10-7 lead on the Jaguars, and when we resume, it'll be a 2nd and 11 at the Jacksonville 43.
And back here in Jacksonville, you got to look at the numbers for the quarterbacks through the first half, and not a lot of big plays from either quarterback down the field. Both teams playing a lot of 2 deep coverages. These quarterbacks forced to work underneath to the tight ends and backs.
Andy Dalton looking at a 2nd and 11. Just under 2 minutes to play in this first half. Dalton unleashes deep down the right side. It is caught. No indication. Caught by A.J. Green, and apparently he stepped out down at the 1.
Well, when you get man-to-man coverage on A.J. Green, that's where Andy Dalton's going to go with the throw. You got that rare combination of size and athletic ability that makes him extremely dangerous in the vertical passing game. He just runs right by Rasheem Mathis. And he doesn't give Andy Dalton a lot of room on the boundary either, but boy, nice tip-tap there on the boundary. Big play before the half.
42 yards on the reception. First catch for Green, and here is Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. And he is just short of that goal line. Jay Gruden, the offensive coordinator for the Bengals, telling us yesterday that Andy Dalton has to trust A.J. Green more. Just fire it. A.J. at 6'4", and with speed will get to it. What would happen with you with the Raiders if you were not looking for your top receivers early on?
I'd get scolded.
You get scolded.
I'd get scolded by the receivers and the play caller on the sidelines.
All right, here's Green Ellis in the backfield, and it's a quarterback sneak. Dalton straight ahead. Touchdown, Cincinnati. Andy Dalton able to get it across the goal line. Good job by the offensive line, and the Bengals have taken a 16-7 lead.
And all set up by the big throw from Andy Dalton to A.J. Green, and that's the thing that he does a really nice job of. He's going to give the receiver a chance to make a play down the field.
So you would get scolded by the likes of what, Tim Brown,
Jerry Rice. Yeah, if you're in through the first half and they haven't gotten going, they get antsy. They want to get their touches. They want to get involved in the game plan early.
All right, Mike Nugent puts it through, and it's a 17-7 lead for Cincinnati. Well, in our business, there are many hardworking people behind the scenes, and a week ago, we at CBS lost one of the best in the business. For Cincinnati's Jack Shoemaker, there was no event too big and no job too small, and Jack survived by 3 sons, 4 grandchildren, and a multitude of family, friends, and co-workers. Remaining in this first half, the Bengals come in at 2-1. The Jaguars 1-2. Bengals lost their opener, blown out by the Ravens. They have won their last 2 by putting up big numbers in both of their 2 previous games. The kick by Nugent and a deep kick. Jennings will stay right there. Coming up on the Verizon halftime report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up. Looks like a little trouble here on the set. Coming up on the Verizon halftime report. I don't know if it was touchy-feely or
it's all in love.
Scolding.
Run.
First down and 10 from the 20. Gabbert slides. Picked up 2 on the play. Clock is running. Cincinnati with 3 timeouts remaining. Same for Jacksonville. Out of the gun. Gabbert. And completes to Blackman, his second catch of the day. It is right at the marker. It is a first down, and a timeout is taken by the Jaguars. Rich Gannon, a 17-7 lead for Cincinnati. Here's Gabbert back to throw, took a hit, and as a result comes up short. So we have 39 seconds left in this first half.
Well, he's fortunate right here. First of all, he's going to get hit as he's throwing it, but my gosh, he's trying to throw this one down the middle into double coverage, and it's a good thing that thing got knocked down, or that may have gotten picked off. Good pressure around the edge from Geno Atkins. Geno Atkins is a great interior pass rusher. He can also come off the edge as well when they move him outside.
Geno Atkins leading the Bengals with 3 sacks. Pressure on Gabbert, nowhere to go, and then was able to throw it at the near side, and it is caught. Mike Thomas on the reception and had the feet in bounds, but short of a first down. He did pick up 9. Clock is stopped with 31 seconds left in the half.
Well, you just watch playing Gabbert. They've got to throw the ball better. They've got to play better as an offense in the passing game. Even watching practice on Friday in a 7-on-7 drill without a pass rush, he's still missing throws. He's got to improve his accuracy. Look at him last year, 50%. This year, 50% completion percentage. That's just not good enough at this level.
Now he pegs it, and it's broken up. Beautiful play by the defender, Terrence Newman, the left corner. Pass intended for Shorts. And the head coach of Jacksonville, Mike Mularkey, telling us on Friday after practice that they had their best passing practice week of the season. Although, you know, when you talk to coaches, they always say, hey, it's the best week we've had.
Yeah, we've heard that
season
before. But you look right there. I mean, the other thing is you can be critical of Blaine Gabbert all you want, but this is the second game we've done now, Marv, through 4 weeks. And these receivers are not beating man-to-man coverage. They're not winning the one-on-one battles.
Brian Anger with the punt. The Bengals let it go as he bounces through the end zone to bring it out to the 20, and that will go down as a 61-yarder with 18 seconds remaining in this first half. Nobody knows the game like a quarterback. Don't miss Rich Gannon, Phil Simms, Steve Berline, and special guest Dan Marino on NFL Monday Quarterback. That's Monday at 6:30 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. And since this show premiered, 4 weeks ago?
4 weeks ago.
I'm told you have been trending on Twitter.
Well, what do you think? I know you've been watching.
I have checked it out. It's an excellent show.
And we're having a lot of fun doing it.
So they run it out. And that will do it for this first half here in Jacksonville. And you can hear some of the boos from this crowd at Everbank Field in Jacksonville, Florida. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. This time the rollout, Dalton throws, touchdown, Cincinnati. Back in Jacksonville, Florida, 17-7 lead for the Bengals over the Jaguars. Marv Albert along with Rich Gannon as we take a look at the DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam. And this was Andy Dalton, the big play that led to the touchdown, 42-yard pass. A.J. Green with the catch out at the 1, and then Dalton ran it in on a quarterback sneak. So that the big play of this first half. Meanwhile, the Jaguars struggling at the offensive end.
They can't get anything going. Your star running back, Maurice Jones-Drew, 8 carries, just 23 yards. If they can't run the ball, they're going to really struggle because they can't throw it. They've had that problem all season. Just 53 passing yards so far for Blaine Gabbert.
Meanwhile, Cincinnati has been explosive the last 2 games, and I guess from the Jacksonville point of view that they held the Bengals to 17 points is not a bad thing, but they have to score.
They have to score, right. Bengals about twice as many yards in the first half. Not a lot of big plays to be found from this Jacksonville offense, and it's been a problem all season, just 53 passing yards. They've got to find a way to crank up this passing game here in the second half.
Brandon Tate is back deep. Here's the kick by Josh Scobie. Cincinnati in possession to open up the second half, and they'll start out from their 20-yard line.
Well, it hasn't been all pretty for the Bengals, but they found a way to grab a 17-7 lead on the road, and that's always impressive. And the big throw to A.J. Green really right before the half was I thought, a turning point. That's what they need to do more of, I think, here in the second half. They need to find a way to get the ball in the hands of A.J. Green, your playmaker. Just one catch in the first half.
And obviously that last possession you saw on the graphic was right at the end of the half. They start out from the 20. Green Ellis and Presley in the backfield, but Dalton will throw, and it's caught for a first down. It's Jermaine Gresham, the tight end. Last week, 5 receptions. This is good for 16. Gresham, the third-year man out of Oklahoma. He was knocked out by Derek Cox, and that's his 3rd catch of the day.
You kind of have to pick your poison when you try and stop this Cincinnati offense. They're just one of 4 teams to have a quarterback, wide receiver, tight end all make the Pro Bowl last season, and all 3 are just 24 years old. The future is bright when you think about Gresham, Dalton, and Green.
Cincinnati lines up again with a double tight end. Green Ellis works his way to the 40. It looked like they had him a couple of yards back. And as we touched on earlier, he is so good, as the coaches like to say, falling forward. He just keeps pedaling, does not stop. And the end result, a pickup of 4. That could have been a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, not a lot of big runs when you look at Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, but as you said, Marv, he takes care of the football. He doesn't put it on the ground, and he's a finisher. I mean, he knows how to finish runs.
You see the balance of the Bengals. They're looking at a 2nd down and 6. Just underway, 3rd quarter. Out of the shotgun. Dalton throwing sideline. It is caught once again by Green. He is inbounds, has a first down. He works that sideline so well. This time works it for 30 yards.
And remember now, Rasheed Mathis just coming back off of that knee surgery, and he's struggling right now with A.J. Green. He's running with them, but he's not doing a good enough job locating the ball. That's a tough one because it's a little bit underthrown, and A.J. Green is able to come back and make the play.
A.J. at 6'4", 205 pounds. Green Ellis, straight ahead move, likes to run between the tackles. Stopped by DeJuan Landry, the strong safety. Time only 2-yard pickup. Getting back to A.J. Green with his 2nd catch, has 23 on the season. That is among the leaders, but the 2 catches, both for long-range gains, 72 yards in all. 2nd and 8 for the Bengals. Nice play fake. Dalton able to complete along the sideline. Once again, it's Green right at the marker. And let's see where they spot it. Yes, it is a Cincinnati first down.
And this is where Andy Dalton is so much better. It was a point of emphasis in the offseason. We've got to be able to move this guy a little bit. You know, you see with the pocket, it's not there. It takes a second. Now watch him get outside. This is what we didn't see a lot of a year ago. He can throw the ball really well on the move, whether he's going to his right or to his left.
And as we discussed earlier, Jay Gruden very happy that he has more trust in A.J. Green, and we're seeing that. Beautiful catch. A diving catch by Green inside the 10, and that's a 14-yard pickup.
And you mentioned, Mark, maybe not a ton of throws in the direction of A.J. Green. A lot of big plays, though. You go back and you look at A.J. Green matched up. Mathis knows he has some help on the inside, but what a great catch, great concentration, great extension from A.J. Green.
1st and goal at the 6. Bengals wasting no time here at the start of the 3rd quarter. Green, 4 receptions, 94 yards. Short set. Here's the pass that is over the head of Green. It was covered by Rasheed Mathis.
You mentioned the big plays, Marv. 51 pass plays of 20 yards or more a season ago. Many of them winding up in the hands of A.J. Green. When you talk about a guy that can take the top off the defense, he averaged more than 16 yards a catch last season, and he's very good down in this part of the field as well. Not a very good throw there by Andy Dalton. You've got to give a guy that size a chance to make a play against a smaller corner.
So 3 plays over 20 yards for the Bengals. And those plays have the name A.J. Green written all over. Now timeout taken by Cincinnati. We're early 3rd. Bengals lead the Jaguars 17-7. Head coach Marvin Lewis of the Cincinnati Bengals. His team with a 2nd and goal at the 6-yard line, trying to add to that lead.
Boy, the win here would be huge for them. They'd be 3-1. They opened the season with 3 of their first 4 games on the road for only the 3rd time in franchise history. 3 of their next 4 are at home, so this will be a huge win for Cincinnati.
Green Ellis in the backfield. And the flip is to Green. He battles his way down to the 1. 5-yard gain. It'll be a 3rd and goal.
A little pop pass to A.J. Green, and just they get it up and down so quick. Looks like he may score after he makes the first guy miss, but now all of a sudden he runs right into Paul Posluszny. Hello! Say hello to my little friend.
Yes.
Paul Posluszny is he's a very good tackler in the open field.
There is Green Ellis. Put it on the ground. lost it, and the Jaguars have recovered. Is that possible? Jarvis Green Ellis, who had gone 589 games without a fumble going into last week, fumbled last week, and now gives it up here today.
Well, that's incredible. You talk about a guy that's as sure-handed as any back in football. What happens is he leaves his feet, and as he does, I think Mincy gets a hand on that ball. That's out at the line of scrimmage.
Rich Jarvis Green Ellis saying to himself, what is going on now?
Well, he's got a reputation going all the way back to the game last week. I'm obviously being sarcastic. There's a guy that has taken such great care of the ball. You got to think about his confidence now. The guy that's never put it on the ground has put it on the ground twice now in the last 22 touches.
Let's see, 2 for 22. So he's fumbled, 9% out of his last 22 touches. Maurice Jones-Drew, who has not been able to get going for Jacksonville, picked up about 4 on the play, but has not been able to break free.
Well, you just got to be so careful down in this part of the field. He's got it secured here, and I don't think he ever feels Mincy coming in on his left side. Mincy does a nice job getting that left arm in there, knocking it out. That's a huge, huge turnover for that Jacksonville defense.
And it was recovered by C.J. Mosley, the defensive tackle. Jones-Drew, 9 carries, 27 yards, and the Bengals have done an excellent job on Maurice Jones-Drew. He's in the backfield. Gabbert. Greg Jones, the fullback on the reception, picked up 4, met by the strong safety Taylor Mays.
Just going back and paying off that turnover, Marv. I think the mindset for that Jacksonville defense is they've got to make a couple of plays on defense each week in order to win. They've got to score. They've got to create a few turnovers and short fields for the offense. They're not scoring enough points right now on offense, just 17 points a game. It's going to be that type of a game. If they don't make some big plays defensively, they've got no chance.
Jaguars 30th in the league offensively. Blackman makes the catch, and that is his 3rd reception of the game. Justin Blackman picks up the first down. Make it 4 catches for 24 yards for Blackman, so that equals his total coming into today over the first 3 games.
And we talked about the importance of getting him going. Now they've got to find a way to get him the ball down the field. They've got to find a way to get some one-on-one matchups against some of these smaller corners. We talked about the problems that Cincinnati has coming in. They've got 3 starting cornerbacks out. Clements, Leon Hall, Dre Kirkpatrick. You have to go after this secondary.
First down at the 34, and Gabbert throws caught for a first down at midfield. LaRon Robinson shaken up. That's a 19-yard play for Robinson, his first reception of the day.
I was just getting ready to say they got to get LaRon Robinson going a little bit. You mentioned, Mark, just his first catch of the day. Had a career-high 11 touchdowns a season ago for the Cowboys and almost 900 receiving yards.
11 touchdowns along with 54 catches by Robinson. So let's see what Jacksonville can do on this drive when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Scottrade. See for yourself why so many investors are saying, I'm with Scottrade. And by the all-new Dodge Dart. Dodge. New rules.
Wide receiver LaRon Robinson of the Jaguars being checked out. He suffered a concussion last week and was a questionable throughout the week. That was his first catch a moment ago. Jones-Drew remains in the backfield. 1st and 10 for Jacksonville. Off the play fake. Gabbert again on the rollout, and the catch is made by Blackman. Terrence Newman defending on the play, so it's a coming out party for the rookie out of Oklahoma State, 1st round draft pick, Justin Blackman.
Isn't it amazing what can happen when you get a guy going a little bit and get him some catches? What that can do for his confidence? Watch him finish here, catch the ball away from his body. That's what he was known for at Oklahoma State, making the difficult catches in traffic, using those big hands, being strong after the catch.
14-yard play, 5th catch for Blackman. Jones-Drew on a hesitation. And you can see how tough it is to bring him down. Right here, we're set for an NFL update. Let's go to JB.
All right, Shannon, take it away. What do you call it?
No, this is Peyton Manning. Rolls out. He's been doing a tricep extension, JB. Strengthening that tricep. Peyton Manning looks good today. 17-6 Broncos.
That's what I meant, the tricep extension. Let's take it back to you guys.
You know, as long as they're having a good time, Rich. That's the important part. 2nd down and 8. Play action. And the pass again is caught by Blackman. Terrence Newman having his difficulty with the 6'1" rookie. 5th overall selection, Justin Blackman, who is hearing it from the crowd, picked up 10. Another Jaguar first down.
And it looks like Blaine Gabbert's got some confidence now in his rookie wide receiver. Yeah, I don't know how you can go through the whole first half and not have Nate Clements, not have Leon Hall in the lineup, and not go after these Cincinnati corners.
Jacksonville has 3 tight ends on the field. Jones-Drew, the lone setback. Straight back move by Gabbert. Sees the opening, looking for the marker, and he's tripped up at the 15 by Vontez Burfict. I think the guys have gathered themselves now, so let's check in again. Back in New York, JB and Shannon.
All right, Marv, we'll make this more traditional. Saints narrowing the gap.
Moments before the half, Drew Brees, option route, Darren Sproles, 6 yards into the end zone. 21-14 pack over the Saints.
Every now and then, Marv, we need just a little levity here in the studio. Back to Marv and Rich.
JB, we prefer the mirth aspect. 2nd and 3 down at the 15-yard line. Jones-Drew broke a couple tackles and then is taken down. Picked up 3.
Well, I've seen a different Blaine Gabbert today, Marv, than we've seen all season. Look at that, 127 consecutive passes without an interception. He's taking good care of the football. He's been more demonstrative. You see him pulling the ball down, and when it's not, a receiver's not open down the field, making some plays with his legs, keeping the chains moving, and that's good to see. Really good to see. You know, you think about a guy who started 14 games as a 21-year-old rookie. I think he learned from last year to kind of fight through the highs and lows that come with playing the position.
Play clock running down, and a timeout is taken by the Jaguars. That last run just short of a first down. We come back 3rd and about a yard. Bengals lead the Jaguars 17-7. Welcome back to Jacksonville. 3rd and about a yard for the Jaguars. Gabbert trying to draw the Bengals offside. They don't go for it. The handoff, Jones-Drew. And it appeared that he did pick up the first down. He's pushed back by Manny Lawson, the strong side linebacker. Let's see where they spot it. Gabbert on this drive has hit 5 for 5 for 52 yards, and overall 16 of 21, 130 yards, including a touchdown.
Been very efficient. Taking good care of the football, making some plays with his legs.
It is a first down for the Jaguars. Just under 5 minutes to go. 3rd quarter. Marvin Lewis in his 10th year as head coach of the Bengals. See those numbers on this drive, which have been impressive. Gabbert on the roll. Gabbert throws. It is incomplete, intended for Cecil Shorts, who had a dive for it.
That's a really nice job by that Cincinnati defense. They just didn't fool them. You see the action away. They're trying to get the tight ends working across the field. Blaine Gabbert just trying to make a play to Cecil Shorts. Really nice job there by Cincinnati, not being duped on 1st and 10.
11th play of this drive. This began with the fumble by Jarvis Green Ellis down at the 1. Out of the gun, Gabbert pegs it. And the catch is made by Jones-Drew at the 10. He took a pretty good pop from the former Jaguar free safety Reggie Nelson. Picked up 4.
Boy, Reggie Nelson comes right over the back of Maurice Jones-Drew. He almost makes this play. He tries to intercept it. Really nice concentration there by Maurice Jones-Drew, fighting for it.
How would you like a call of simultaneous possession?
Yeah, we've seen that before, huh?
They spotted at the 8-yard line, so it's a 3rd and 6. Good spot for the Jaguars.
Comes pressure.
Gabbert throws, and the catch is made inside the 5 by Kevin Elliott.
Boy, that's what will make him sick when he watches the film tomorrow morning. You've got to make a better throw there to Kevin Elliott. When you get that ball up a little bit higher, he may run right into the end zone. This is the difference between settling for a field goal and scoring a touchdown. Look, watch how low this is. When you get that thing up high, Kevin Elliott, who knows, he may break that tackle for Pac-Man Jones and score.
It is about 1.5 yards short of a first down, so 21-yard field goal attempt for Josh Scobie. And he puts it right through. He is 7 for 7 for the season. And the Jaguars trail now by 10. Here's that fumble for Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. And the Jaguars not able to take it all the way, but hit the field goal.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Warner Brothers Pictures Argo, in theaters everywhere October 12th. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
$14 plays, 77 yards in just under 8 minutes. And then the 21-yard field goal by Scobie, who kicks it deep. And Brandon Tate lets it. Oh, nice catch by the Jaguar mascot. Nice going. Coming up on 3 minutes remaining in this third quarter. To this point, the rain, the thunder showers have stayed away here in Jacksonville. Bengals back in possession, starting out from their 20-yard line. And Jarvis Green Ellis, the running back. Dalton swings it to him to the 25, across the 30. Nice run after the catch and has a first down. Derek Cox makes the tackle. A moment ago on that kickoff, watch this, in the end zone, the Jaguar mascot Jackson DeVille. Look at this, Rich.
Great footwork, great concentration. The only thing he doesn't do is he doesn't bring it out. I mean, he should have shown Brandon Tate how to do it. That's great spike.
You would see a
off
mascot.
The screen.
You would see a mascot being fired on the spot if he had run it out. First down at the 33. Green Ellis with a hesitation move and clutching that football after the fumble down at the 1 on the previous Bengal possession.
Well, you can be sure that those Jacksonville defensive linemen are talking to Ben Jarvis Green Ellis now. They're calling a fumbler and they're reminding him, and they try and get in your head. And here's a guy that's been so good, so sure-handed at taking care of the football that's now put it on the ground in 2 straight games.
Second down and 9 at the 34. A.J. Green splits wide to the right. Dalton with time. Pumps. And then slides his way across the 35. Picked up a couple. Andre Branch, Tyson Alu combined on the stop.
And sometimes you guess wrong. You know, right here, you look, it's just really a 2-man route. And what they're trying to do is block them up. And you've got 7 dropping in coverage and only really 3 men running the route. You've got the top guy up here. He's covered, and he's covered. Nowhere to go with the football.
3rd and 7. 4 wideouts for the Bengals. Dalton over the middle. Has a first down and more with Andrew Hawkins, who is in space in the open field and is hauled down across the 35 by Paul Posluszny.
Well, this guy is scary fast. You think about a receiver like Andrew Hawkins. I mean, he's been quiet today. Now, you're not going to tackle. You need help. And he is very quick. Great short area spaces. And those smaller guys are hard to get on the ground.
Picked up 31 and a first down inside the 35-yard line. Flip to the right. He has the tight end Gresham. Again, it's Posluszny making the stop. And that is a 5-yard gain. Paul Posluszny telling us we have to improve our run defense. Inconsistent. Now Dalton is finding his receivers on this good drive by the Bengals. As this third quarter comes to a close, Bengals up by 7. We'll be back to Jacksonville after this message and a word from your local station. Fourth quarter getting underway. A 2nd and 5 for the Bengals. At the Jaguar 28-yard line, Cincinnati 17 and Jacksonville 10. Empty backfield for Andy Dalton. On the screen, the tight end Gresham battles his way and has a first down. Dwight Lowry, the free safety, up to make the stop. Tonight, see what makes The Amazing Race the most celebrated reality show ever. Don't miss the season premiere of the Emmy-winning Amazing Race. That's tonight, following 60 Minutes, only CBS. First down is at the Jaguar 21. Green Ellis, the lone running back. 4 wideouts once again for the Bengals. Green Ellis off the right side. Works his way inside the 20. A pickup of 3. Russell Allen, the outside linebacker, had the wraps on Green Ellis.
Well, Bengals really starting to take control. You look at total yards in this football game, and of course that translates into time of possession at some point. Cincinnati has been very effective, particularly on third down.
2nd down and 7 for the Bengals. And Dalton throwing end zone. Touchdown, Bengals. It is A.J. Green on the reception. His 3rd touchdown of the season. 6th catch, 117 yards, and Cincinnati has a 23-10 lead. An 18-yard touchdown pass as he led Green beautifully.
Yeah, and Rasheed Mathis is not doing a good enough job getting his hands on A.J. Green. He's just too quick for him at the line of scrimmage. He's trying to jam him. He just gets that one hand and falls inside, gives A.J. Green a clean shot up the sidelines.
This is Mike Nugent for the extra point. So Cincinnati with a 24-10 lead, although there's a flag down. It's been kind of a low-key day for the officials.
Offense number 80, 10-yard penalty, retry.
All right, they'll do it again on the penalty called on Orson Charles of Cincinnati. But when you talk about penalties, a quiet day for the Ed Hockley crew.
Well, that's what you want, right? You don't want to be talking about calls, missed calls, and mistakes and confusion from the officials. It's been a very, I think well officiated game. They better find someone to help with A.J. Green right now. Rasheed Mathis is getting torched by the 2nd-year receiver.
Total of 9 penalties, that's been it. So once again, the extra point attempt, and he puts it through. 8 plays, 80 yards, 4 minutes, 13 seconds. Andy Dalton to A.J. Green. Here's how the Bengals did it just moments ago. 8 plays, 80 yards. capped off by the touchdown pass from Andy Dalton to that man, A.J. Green. A couple of second-year players who have been outstanding the last 3 games, including this afternoon. Rashad Jennings is back. Deep kick. He's uncertain, then decides wisely to stay in the end zone. So they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. A reminder tonight on CBS, it begins with 60 Minutes and Arnold Schwarzenegger, followed by the season premieres of The Amazing Race, The Good Wife, and The Mentalist. Only CBS. What a rookie season for A.J. Green. 65 catches, better than 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. The first rookie wideout to make the Pro Bowl since Anquan Bolden back in 2003. There's Gabbert throwing downfield, and it's picked off. Picked off by Crocker, looking for an escort, couldn't find anyone, and then is pushed out inside the 20-yard line. So Chris Crocker, who was just added to the roster, re-signed. He had been dropped by the Bengals after being a starter last season, had some troubles toward the end of the year and was waived, and he's back because of all the injuries in the secondary.
Well, this just sails on him a little bit, and that's a force. You've got coverage underneath with Adam Jones, and you got Chris Crocker behind him. It's going to be tough to fit that one into Justin Blackmon. It's almost as if he predetermined before the snap he was going to throw the ball to Justin Blackmon. Here's a guy that's taken really good care of it. You look at just the first interception in the last 131 attempts, but boy, that's the one he'd love to have back.
Cincinnati first down at the Jacksonville 16-yard line. They work out of the I formation, and Jarvis Green Ellis this time trying to twist his way, but not able to find an opening, and Kyle Bosworth is there to make the stop. No gain on that play. Minute and a half gone by in this fourth quarter. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon. Bengals with a 24-10 lead on the Jaguars. Cincinnati looking to extend to a record of 3-1 as they look to next week. They'll be home for the Miami Dolphins, then at Cleveland, and back home to Pittsburgh, followed by the bye week.
As Jacksonville defense needs to find a way to come up with another turnover. A short field.
Play fake. Dalton off the roll, fires. The leaping grab made, but he's out of bounds. Nice effort by Armand Binns, one-time member of the Jaguars, first-year player from the University of Cincinnati, but that throw was drifting off the mark.
It was a javelin throw. This is an incredible throw, though, in the back of the end. At least giving him a chance. He throws it in the only place he can. It's a terrific catch. Just can't get that other foot down. But an outstanding effort from Armand Binns.
Third and 10 at the 16. Dalton is 20 for 29, 244 yards. Brian Leonard, the third down back, is checked in. Here's Dalton with time, throws end zone again, and it is incomplete. Try the other side with Binns, who is covered by Cox. So the field goal unit will come on. Mike Nugent, who earlier hit from 35. He's 6 for 6 for the season in his 8th year out of Ohio State. This also a 35-yard attempt. And this one is from straight away. And it is right through. So the Bengals now lead it 27-10. And this all set up by Blaine Gabbert being picked off by Chris Crocker.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. FedEx does more than shipping. FedEx, solutions that matter. TD Ameritrade. And by State Farm. Get to a better state with a discount double check.
We are back in Jacksonville, Florida. The Bengals now have a 27-10 lead on the Jaguars. 2.5 gone by in this fourth quarter. Another deep kick, and Rashad Jennings makes the catch, not allowing the mascot, Jacksonville, to get in his way. Coming up, time permitting, after the game, the Subway postgame show. Join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. All coming up on the Subway postgame show.
Well, you almost have to wait till November or December to get a kick return. These kickers are just, they kick it so high and so deep into the end zone, makes it very difficult for these return men to even consider bringing it out.
And both Nugent and Scobie very effective with the deep kick. Nice pass from Gabbard. It's a first down as Shorts makes the catch. That's his first of the day, and it's good for 13. And now they say no, did not hold on. They'll bring it back.
Well, we've seen Blaine Gabbert. You go back to that throw last week, Marv, with 45 seconds to go to Cecil Shorts. I mean, it's about the prettiest pass you'd ever see. I mean, just great anticipation. He trusted. He just gets back there, and he pulls the trigger a lot like that last one. But yet too often we've seen inconsistency with his footwork, his technique, his fundamentals. That's an area of his game where he's got to clean up.
Gabbert being chased, and down he goes. Vontaze Burfict with his first sack in his NFL career, a rookie out of Arizona State. And that is the third sack of the day for Cincinnati.
Yeah, you just look at him. He's just going to come right up the middle, and nobody even gets a hand on him. I don't know if it's a communication thing or, I mean, how can you turn that out between the center, Meester, and the left guard, Britton? I mean, that's just poor communication. You can't allow a linebacker to run right up the middle like your quarterback.
Ball back of the 9. It's a 3rd and 21. The screen for Jones Drew. He finds some room and then brings across the 20-yard line. And as you mentioned earlier, Rich, why don't they throw the screen more frequently to Maurice Jones-Drew?
Yeah, you like to see it on the early downs and not on 3rd and a bunch, where it's just hard for them to even get back half of it. But the turnovers have been a big story in this game.
So Brian Anger will punt it away. Brandon Tate from the 35 to midfield, and he's submarine. Hit down by Aaron Morgan, a 45-yard punt. It'll be Cincinnati ball. Rich, would you say ominous skies above the stadium? And also Jacksonville fans have been filing out since midway through this third quarter.
Well, Marv, I really don't think the heavy stuff's going to come for a while.
Really?
That's pretty good. My Bill Murray Caddyshack reference. It went over your head.
Is that what it was? Yes. It actually confused me. I thought there was something wrong with you.
I thought something was wrong with my right.
No gain on that run by Green Ellis. Stopped by Austin Lane, playing his first game of the season, missing the first 3 with a injured foot. And you see the numbers for Andy Dalton. Terrific day. Maurice Jones-Drew has really struggled, and you have to say that the Bengals have done a superb job defensively on Jones-Drew. Again, it's Green Ellis, this time with the hole opening up, gets to the 40, met by C.J. Mosley and picked up 7 yards.
Well, Jacksonville came into this game saying they have to limit the explosive plays, and Rasheed Mathis has really struggled with some one-on-one coverage to A.J. Green. He has needed some help over the top. You see this 18-yard touchdown catch to put the Bengals up 24-10 at the time, and that's what A.J. Green can do to you. I mean, when they get one-on-one coverage, Andy Dalton is going to give A.J. Green a chance to make a play down the field.
6 catches, 117 yards, including a touchdown. Dalton looking at a 3rd and 4. Play action. And Dalton's pass, apparently there was miscommunication as A.J. Green pulled up, and Derek Cox, the right corner, had a better opportunity.
Yeah, Andy getting a little bit aggressive here. He's got 2 deep coverage. Cox knows he's got help over the top, and what happens is A.J. Green decides, I'm going to stop and expect a back shoulder throw, where Andy Dalton's anticipating him to continue to work up the sidelines. Between trying to fit that one in between the safety and the corner, Andy Dalton just asking for trouble.
Only the second punt for Huber. Mike Thomas is back at his 10. Huber trying to keep it in play, and does. It is downed inside the 5 by Andrew Hawkins. A.J. Green has been spectacular, combining with Andy Dalton.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by NFL Mobile from Verizon, built to bring you the game. And by Subway Restaurants. Try the new Tuscan Chicken Melt today.
Jacksonville starting out from their 4-yard line. And Gabbert's pass caught at the 10 by Mercedes Lewis. And he is being gang tackled. Only 63 yards on the ground for the Jaguars. Now they're obviously in passing mode, as they have been throughout the second half, but that has been the concern of the Bengals because they have been so poor against the rush the first 3 games of the season.
Yeah, and you look at a team like Jacksonville, they're just not good enough on offense right now to play from behind, down 17 here late in the fourth quarter.
Second down and 12. Jones-Drew, who has not been able to get going. Stopped by Malaluga. Picked up 5. Maurice Jones-Drew last week 177 yards in the win over Indianapolis. Led the NFL last season in rushing, just 37 yards on 13 carries to this point. And Gabbert goes underneath to Jones-Drew. Close to the marker. Again, it's Malaluga with the stop. And he did picked up the first down.
Well, you look at Maurice Jones-Drew's rushing numbers today, averaging over 104 yards a game, and today just they couldn't get the running game going, and that just puts too much stress, too much emphasis, and too much pressure on the passing game. They're just not good enough right now in the passing game. As you see Elliott drop one.
2nd and 10 at the
This is an
27.
This is an offense, Marv, that's built to sustain drives. Wear down opponents, win the time of possession, not beat themselves, and that hasn't happened today. That's how Mike Mularkey ran that offense in Atlanta. They're just not good enough. They don't have the weapons right now and the consistency in the passing game to get in a shootout with a team like Cincinnati.
And unless there is a dramatic turnaround as Geno Atkins is able to get to the quarterback, Blaine Gabbert. 4th sack of the day for the Bengals, and for Atkins, his 4th of the season. Unless there is a dramatic turnaround, we're looking at a 1-3 record for the Jaguars, with the Bears coming up here at home next week, followed by the bye week, and then at Oakland and at Green Bay. 3rd down and 13 from the 24-yard line. And Gabbert able to complete. Shorts. Stopped short. I'm sorry, of the first down. Vincent Ray made the tackle, and the punting team will come on. And for those who have remained here, you can hear the boos from the crowd. Tate is back. Anger will punt. And another good one as Tate takes it and called for the fair catch. 43-yard punt by Anger. Coming up, time permitting, following the game, the Subway post-game show. Join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights, all coming up on the Subway post-game. 7:02 left in this fourth quarter. 27-10 lead for the Bengals, and they will start at their 24-yard line. They stay with the combination of Green Ellis and Presley out of the eye. Green Ellis hit at the 25-yard line, picked up a yard. And the ball was...
I think he put the ball
around. Yeah,
I think he put the ball on the ground again. You just watch. He tries to wind this thing back, and when he does, right there, that ball comes out. And there's Mincy again.
But he's able to cover up.
Well, this is becoming a problem now for Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. I mean, people are realizing that he's putting the ball on the ground, and so they're trying to get a hand in there and pop it out. Well, late in the game with a lead like this, 27-10, when you run that ball up inside, you better put two hands on it. That's what Andy Dalton has to be telling them every time they leave the huddle.
Green Ellis, this time able to hang on to the football. Pozlesny making the stop, picked up just two. Look at that upcoming schedule for Marvin Lewis and his Bengals. They're home for Miami. We will be there next Sunday. Then at Cleveland, home game against Pittsburgh, the bye week, and then Denver and the Giants. That is not a pretty schedule for the Bengals.
No, but the good news is, though, is 4 of the 5 of those games are at home after having been on the road 3 of the first 4 weeks. So now they go back 3-1, and I think they're going to be tough to beat at home.
3rd down and 7 play, and Brian Leonard gets the call, goes for 3. I get the feeling we are moments away from the skies exploding.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. This would not be a good time to get a couple holes of golf in. Yeah, you can see it already raining across the St. Johns River there. Certainly on its way to the stadium.
Well, Mike Thomas is back. Punt by Huber. And it looked like he was calling for a fair catch and let it go. As it twisted away, as you can see the effect of the wind now, 50-yard punt. You can get coverage of every NFL game with NFL Mobile's free premium access this weekend, including Sunday and Monday night games, NFL Red Zone, and NFL Network access. Call *NFL to download NFL Mobile or go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more.
Are you able to access that on your phone?
I do. I do on a regular basis.
As the rain comes down, you called it.
Here's Gabbert on 1st down, and it is dropped. Dropped by Kevin Elliott. And it is pouring here in Jacksonville. I just haven't had that touch from a weather point of view. I have the Doppler going here to my left.
You've never done the weather, have you? In your earlier days?
No.
Never?
Actually, I sat in once in my local days. It was a very sad presentation, it should be pointed out.
We'll have to dig that one up.
The green screen didn't work for me. 2nd and 10 from the 21, and that is broken up. Pass intended for Blackman, played by Burfict.
Justin Blackman just has to learn to keep coming back to the football as the rain comes down here hard, and you can't wait on it. You're going to see Blackman right here working on Burfict, the linebacker. Now come back. Don't relax coming out of that cut.
Rich, I know you've gone through conditions like this where you play in pouring rain. I'm sure it's just a wonderful experience.
Oh, the balls are so slick. And
3rd down and 10, and Gabbert is taken down. Again, it is Geno Atkins, his 2nd of the quarter, and his 5th sack of the game, which leads the Bengals.
Well, going to the Pro Bowl last year meant the world to Geno Atkins. You just see him, the push he gets up inside. I mean, the guy is so strong at the point. It's a great interior pass rusher. They've got those 2 good ends in Dunlap and Johnson. But Pecco and Atkins are a handful inside.
You know, this is pretty heavy rain we're looking at.
I think it's coming into the booth now.
4th down, and Jaguars say, what the heck, we're going to go for it. With just under 4 minutes remaining in the game. Gabbert's pass. Jones drew. under slippery conditions, brings it out across the 25, met by Robert Gathers. Went for 9. And the Bengals will take over on downs.
Well, you just watch here at the end.
Oh,
wow! What a big thump there by Ray Malaluga.
Is that helmet to helmet? Or close? Bengals first down from the Jaguar. 26. Green Ellis. And this time, even tougher to hold on to the football with the rain coming down here in Jacksonville. Posluszny makes the tackle. Just a strange day for Jarvis Green Ellis, who had gone 589 career combined rushes and receptions without a fumble until last week at Washington. Coughed one up, and this afternoon, 2 fumbles.
Really amazing. A guy that's been so sure-handed, and he's, it's something that now you've got to go back and you got to revisit. It's something he's got to work on. You know what's going to happen next week. Teams are going to try and get the ball out every time he touches it. That's what Miami's going to be looking at all week in practice.
Green Ellis is stopped. See where his forward progress is marked. DeJuan Landry on the tackle. He picked up 2. As we come up on 2 minutes remaining, a look at the AFC North standings. We assume the Bengals will go to 3-1, tying with the Baltimore Ravens. Cleveland has dropped to 0-4. It is a 3rd and 1 at the 17. Again, it is Green Ellis, and he has the first down. Again, Posluszny makes the tackle. And that brings us to the 2-minute warning. The Bengals with a 27-10 lead on the Jaguars here in rainy Jacksonville, Florida. A torrential downpour here in Rich doing a nice job. Here, Rich, can I help you?
It's a mess. You can see all the rain's coming right into the broadcast booth.
I'd like to help.
I'm going to call OSHA.
Yeah.
This is dangerous.
You okay?
I might get electrocuted. It's just crazy.
Why did the rain hit my position?
I don't know.
Green Ellis on the carry with just under 2 remaining in this 4th quarter. Picked up 3. You do nice work.
I do homes too. I'm expensive though. But we kid around about the weather. You see Andy Dalton wiping his hands off, and I played in some real rough games when it comes to weather, and the rain is the worst. It's hard enough to throw the football when it's dry, but when it's wet, it's almost impossible. Now you just want to talk to your center. You got to make sure that you get the ball up first. That's the most important thing. Andy Dalton lost Kyle Cook a couple of weeks ago. They've got a new center in there, Jeff Fain, and
apparently Bengal fans not deterred by the weather as they hang in, and Bengals are going to run the clock out. The Jaguars will not go to the Greg Schiano defensive maneuver.
No, look at all the Bengal fans that came down. We saw some in our hotel last night, and they're not going to head for cover. They're out here supporting their team, and they're off to a great start. I always say the AFC North is an absolute beast. You think about Pittsburgh and Baltimore, both teams that have gone 12-4 for the last 2 seasons. 3 teams from that division made the playoffs last year, including the Cincinnati Bengals.
An excellent game for Andy Dalton, 20 of 31, 244 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown on a quarterback sneak. Picked off once, 6 catches for A.J. Green. Green Ellis, 26 carries, 82 yards, plus a couple of fumbles. Blaine Gabbert of Jacksonville, 23 of 34, 186 yards. And Maurice Jones-Drew, 13 carries, only 38 yards. So Cincinnati goes to 3-1. Jacksonville 1 up, 3 down.
Yeah, just too many mistakes. When you think about Jacksonville, they had opportunities. Bosworth gets an interception, he fumbles it back. You think about a play that Rasheed Mathis, he almost picks one off and takes it back for a touchdown. Pass interference at results in a touchdown. The interception to Chris Crocker. Just too many mistakes for a Jacksonville team right now that has to play clean football in order to win.
Thanks to our producer, Russ Schneiderman, our director, Andy Goldberg, spotter, Mike Bazemore, our statistician, Russ Glenn. Again, the final score, Cincinnati 27 and Jacksonville 10. All right, first coming up, the Subway postgame show, and then tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, followed by The Amazing Race, The Good Wife, and The Mentalist. For Rich Gadden, I'm Marv Albert saying so long from Jacksonville. You're watching the NFL on CBS.